Welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. We're talking about Hulu's original series, The Hardy Boys. So let me know in the comments below. Are you excited about this one? Are you nervous about this one? Hit a thumbs up if you like our content. I hope you do. It does help us out. The analytics is weird like that. The more thumbs up we get, the better. So I hope you enjoy this and chat to me in the comments. But let's jump in. When the Hardy Boys, Frank and Joe, and their father Fenton arrive in Bridgeport, they set out to uncover the truth behind the recent tragedy that has changed their lives, and in doing so uncover something much more sinister. So way back when I grew up in South Africa, there were a certain book series. We were always a few years behind, I guess, the rest of the world. I don't know, I just always felt like that. I'm sure it's not that way anymore. But growing up, there were things like The Secret Seven, Lord of the Rings, The Hardy Boys, A Famous Five. Those were the books that I used to read. And I think The Hardy Boys is still going. It's got like over 200 books or something ridiculous, and that's just the main series, and there's other things. So I feel like for a lot of people that there's one generation that this series is going for. That's me, that they read these books as children or as teens, and so you hold a certain kind of fondness. You might not quite remember what it's about, you just remember enjoying it. And then we have the new generation that have read it later, and so I think what this series is trying to do is trying to bring both generations together. I'm not quite sure that it does that. So for the most part, we have 10 episodes. It comes out on December the 4th, and it's an interesting series because I feel like every single episode in this series, it could have had 20 minutes shaved off each episode. They're about 45 minutes, 50 minutes long, but it feels like they really drag out each episode. And the acting is different. The special effects that they sometimes use, there was one episode where somebody was electrocuted and you literally see the electrocution, like blue lightning go over them. And that just reminded me of like 80s Mortal Kombat, that kind of really cheesy effect. I was like, what on earth is that doing in this? I know it's not modern times, so that's interesting. And there are moments in this each episode that I really enjoyed. The detective work, like these the books are so famous for, is where the kids make friends and then they go on this detective journey. They find themselves in peril, and that is all really fun. And as we start exploring these kids, as we start exploring the storyline with these kids, the story does get more interesting. You know, it starts out with that kind of MacGuffin, like what is it and what it can do, and then it goes kind of mystery, almost supernatural. And as the story goes along, these kids are trying to find out, you know, maybe something more happened to their mother. There's this big event at the beginning, and that's the story that kind of spurs on with their dad, and they're living in a new town, so they fish out of water, and you feel for them that way. But it does feel like sometimes these kids are written two-dimensional. One kid is the smart kid, one kid is the rebellious kid, but he doesn't know where he is. It takes a while for the series to really unpack the kids a bit more, and it feels very young at heart. Very, very teeny, which I guess it is catering towards. But then at other times it's very dark, and it feels like it's catering towards the generation that remembers reading these books that are older now, so it's a bit darker. And so we have this bashing of two kind of mindsets, two feelings of, you know, generations trying to make the demographic of all family really enjoy this. And I think it misses I feel like it misses a beat quite often. But that's not to say that I didn't enjoy it. So once I understood what the series was doing, what they were trying to, I guess, what they were trying to get the viewer to enjoy, I think it took me about 4 episodes before I really started enjoying. So that's a long time for people to stick out and go, is this series actually going to go anywhere? Is it going to do anything? Is it going to be this slow the whole time? It is fairly slow the whole time. However, the story does get more interesting from about episode 4. The characters are fleshed out more. The story goes a bit darker, which I appreciated, but I think you can definitely watch this with family. There is that whole detective and discovering things, which I thought was really intriguing. I liked some of the acting. I feel like the actors, especially the young ones, kind of come into their characters. I feel like it takes them a while to kind of settle into their feet. You know, you get that with certain series or even film series. If you watch the original Harry Potter films, you know what I'm talking about. Those first 2 films you enjoy because of the stories and you love them in the books, but it did take the actors themselves to kind of learn and grow into acting almost. And I feel like that might be the case. Yeah, they're growing into their characters. And so by about episode 4, I feel like there's a shift. Yeah. So although it was long in the tooth for me, and I feel like they could have shaved off the really drawing out of certain scenes, I did enjoy it, and it's a great first series. I think I'm going to give this a B minus. Chat to me in the comments below. What did you think about this when you do see it? Are you excited? Are you nervous like I was? It holds a kind of a dear place in my heart. One of the characters, I believe, was swapped out for the TV series, a gender swap. So I know there'll be a few people upset with that. But as a Christmas series to watch as a family, that you can stick on an episode now and again, I think this is easily watchable. It's a lot of fun. The score and the cinematography I thought were excellent. It places you in the adventure zone. It has all of that kind of air about it, so that I thought was excellent. Let me know in the comments below, what are you most excited about? What are you hoping they will do with this? Are you hoping for another season? Have you even heard of this? What is your favorite Hardy Boys book? I'd be interested if you're still reading them now as a youngster, you're reading them to your kids, or do you remember a particular story that you really enjoyed that you're hoping that they might kind of bring over to a second or third series? Because they do that in series like this. They do an amalgamation of bits of stories and then bring it into the kind of the screenplay and see if it adapts to TV series. So fingers crossed it doesn't get messed up. Fingers crossed we get a second season so it can really come into its own. But for the most part, I'm eager to see what happens next. This is a non-spoiler review, which I didn't go into detail with what the characters are doing or what happens at the end, so chat to me in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live a long and Tuesday.